Let me... Oh, okay. I'm using OBS now, so it might be a little bit, weird. But that is why. It is simply because I am learning how everything works. So, let me go ahead and put that away. I've got a playlist of learning how to draw. I've been looking at a couple things just to figure it out. So yeah, that's kind of what we're doing, what's going on, all the things. Yeah. I figured everybody can grab a pen and paper and can learn. So, but that's why you learn, right? Because I cannot either. I cannot draw a straight line. That is actually a huge problem of mine, is I will draw a straight line and it will always curve off. So, we learn the basics, and then eventually that should help level up into more advanced things. So, for instance, like a lot of this stuff I've got is very basic. So, drawing for beginners, drawing in 30 days, like whatever this is, how to draw anything. Right, but it's a start. So, hopefully, because I'm planning on doing this for 1, maybe 2 months. That's actually really good. That's awesome. But yeah, I'm hoping to do this specific skill for 1 to 2 months. And each Tuesday will be kind of a check-in, like, hey, what's people's progress? Here's the next part. So, for instance, this video right here has like 4 steps. That's the one I was looking at here, just to confirm. It's got 4 steps, so each week we can look at a new step. And then there are also things like learning to shade, learning anatomy, and yeah. Learning anything, learning how to draw anything. It's learning to draw from memory or from imagination rather than just like, you know? It is a way to level up drawing skills. But yeah, I am gonna go ahead and play this video because I do not remember what it was. Oh, it's boxes. Okay. Here it is, the cube grid. That's what it is. Yeah, it's just learning how to... You found me on YouTube. Oh, that's so funny. But yeah. The cube grid is this right here, where it's learning to draw from different angles. And I know that there are a lot of people that say to draw in perspective, and I think that's a good idea as well. So what I am going to do is, yes, keep that, but also kind of do a center point and then sketch out a few lines from the center point and then have all the cubes kind of going towards it. So let me draw that out really quick. Just kind of what I'm talking about. Is it going to be a straight line? Is it going to be perfect? Absolutely not. No way, Jose, will this be perfect at all. But that's kind of the point. Is it's not supposed to be perfect because there is learning being done. Let's see. He had 3. So, perspective lines, horizon line, here. See, I did it again. The line is completely slanted. Oh my goodness. Gonna play Bag Piggies. Go for it. If you want to sit and grab a pen and paper and draw as well, then go for it. But otherwise, this is just streaming and learning to draw. So and I'm gonna do that. 1, 2, 3. And this is from front view by doing it this way. Yeah, these are not perfect lines at all. But that's okay. They don't need to be perfect. This is literally day 1. Who expects perfection on day 1? Whoever expects perfection on day 1 is either really hard on themselves or has no idea what they're talking about. Oh, that would have been smarter, actually. Would have been to just draw X's through the line. So I've got this little perspective map here where it's a bunch of different angles for the perspective. And now if I remember correctly, what they were saying to do is you draw one of the sides within the perspective and then you pull it out of that perspective. Like away from the perspective lines. So I'm gonna try that. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. We are gonna start with, let's try this right here. We've got, oh, something I could do is in the background when no music is playing, could jump back to YouTube and jump here. Hi, King! An eagle screech sticker. Maybe a phoenix scream sticker, but absolutely, I agree. One day, after this whole series is done, I will be so good at drawing, and we all will be so good at drawing that we can do it. Okay. Let me just throw some jazz in the background. Just while there's no actual video playing. So, King, right now, what we are doing, if you would like to join in, is we are using this. We're using this video, which has something called the cube grid, which is learning to draw from different perspectives. And what I did to make it a little bit easier, at least for me, is I drew out a perspective map. And I'm going to be using that to help visualize each of the levels, since visualizing the levels is pretty hard for me. So hopefully this will help with that, especially from lower perspectives. I'm not the best with lower perspectives. So, anyway, how are you doing? What is up? How is life? Can't really draw right now. I'm at work. Amazing. That you should absolutely do that. So let me try from here. We've got a box. In perspective. I've been good. Today was kind of weird day. I, for some reason, chose to stay up till 4 a.m. watching a TV show instead of going to bed like a smart, rational person, but we all have those days, right? Which side are you on with Cora being with that debate? What is your opinion on the matter? I just completely ignored the entire perspective that I was doing. How did I do that? We want lines to be This is a big box. I don't know why I drew this so big. Oh, that was just the bot. I've been told that that bot would be good, so have added box. Oh my goodness, this is not working. Why is this not working? Indigo! I think it just says Nightbot for you guys, but I nicknamed the bot Indigo on my side. Eventually I plan on coding my own bot, but that's gonna be another skill building, is coding for purposes such as programming bots, programming websites, everything else. So here we go. A box in perspective, using the perspective lines. And then I'm gonna do one down here. Completely forward facing. Team yes, I didn't finish. Did you hear that there's a new Avatar show coming out? How do you feel about the new Avatar show? That's what sparked it. Cause she would, like, didn't she become super hated because later in life she did something bad? I think that's what I heard, but, or my understanding from what I saw of the trailer, but I got no clue. Because Cora left the spirit gates open. Oh. Oh, baby. She's just got it rough. It's always so funny to me when there are canon rules in universes, and then none of the main characters in any of the media surrounding said thing. Thank you. It is classy jazz. But, like, in the Avatar universe canon, avatars find out their avatars when they're 16 years old. Aang didn't. He found out when he was 12. Korra didn't. She found out when she was 3. And now this new avatar didn't. She found out at least, or at most, when she was 8. So it's like, you can't say avatars find out when they're 16 when none of the avatars found out when they were 16. It's so funny to me. Anyway, to get an idea of what I'm doing, here's an update on the perspective map. So I'm drawing one side. Oh goodness, this is going to be precarious. I draw one side on the actual grid lines. So like in this case, the bottom one, it's the top. Here, I decided to use the left side, or whichever side that is. I guess it depends. And then I extended the box out from that perspective so that it looks like it's going toward the center point. Since something I've heard so much from my friends who do art, from people who do art, since this is not my first time looking into it, this is just my first time truly taking the basics seriously, is that perspective, learning perspective matters a lot. So he's talking about the cube grid, and I just put that into a perspective map so that I'm not just going into it blind. Like, I know for some perspectives, you do need 2 focal points, and that'll probably be what I start working on next week. This week, I'm probably going to focus specifically on drawing the perspective maps. And then next week, I will do the double perspectives. Or actually, you know what I'll probably do is this week focus on cubes, because something that this guy talks about in this video, actually, let me turn down the music a little bit since his video doesn't have music, is he talks about it, I think, right here. Yeah.
Something like comfortable doing a cube from every angle.
There we go.
Because if you ever hope to get more complex, like how would I draw a face from any angle, and how would I know where to place elements?
And by the way, King, I totally get it.
Have had a hard time doing that before. Right? How would you know where the forms go? How would you know where to place them? Well, it's all based on the lines and edges of the box. The only way you know where the planes change is by understanding where the face fits inside the box. Notice how the lines that create the box are also parallel to the lines of the eyebrow. And by understanding the box, that is the only way you can understand anything else. Because how are you going to learn how to draw a cylinder? Okay, because that is something you need to understand if you ever hope to copy something like a mannequin, right? This is made of cylinders that move around. Well, in order to draw a cylinder, you have to construct it out of a box. That is the only way to figure out how to draw fundamentally sound ellipses, because you have to locate x's and carve out ellipses from there, right?
So for that reason, I'm probably going to focus this week on learning perspectives using boxes. But I mean, you guys can do your own studies. This is just the thing I'm going to do. Yeah. And he's talking about, like, don't just do it. There's so much more to it. But for this first week, as a... Yeah. Amazing. Yeah, he's got it here too, right? The very first thing... This is a great video, by the way. This talks about the 5 fundamental shapes. And the very, very basic one is the cube, because with a cube you can kind of carve anything. So I'll probably focus this week on doing that perspective with cubes. And then eventually, I won't need the perspective map anymore. I could probably do a very basic cube. Like, let me just sketch one out really quick. It is not going to be perfect. I'm not trying to make this perfect. Like, I can draw a cube very basically. I can also fit that cube, taking a little bit more time to actually think about it, into perspective. In a way that makes sense, so that it looks a little bit more realistic. So drawing the cube is not the problem. It's learning that perspective. So this will help with that, right? Like this right here was the same box I just drew, but these are not. These are different boxes. So it's just one more thing to learn. What I think I'll actually do during this specific exercise is, since these boxes are right next to each other, they are on the same plane of existence, I'm gonna have them overlap each other a little bit. Like that. So they almost look like blocks to jump on. Like you're playing that, the runner game. But, yeah. And then I'll do the same thing I did before. Over here. I'll make a new cube. Side, side. Oh, this is interesting, actually. No, it's not. I just didn't draw my line straight enough. That's another exercise you could do, is just drawing a bunch of straight lines, but I don't think, if I remember correctly, that that is the most helpful thing you could do. Let's see. This line needs to be shorter. Since it's being drawn in perspective, it needs to go towards that horizon point. Drop this line down. Pull that line across. And see, look at that. We got another cube on perspective. Boom! And then can do the same thing from the other side. Just pull it straight down. And I can kind of show what I'm doing here step by step. So I've got this square right there. And from there, there are going to be 3 lines pulled out that are not in perspective. Or they don't need to be in perspective. They just need to be... They need to be perpendicular to the other straight lines. So there is this line, which need to be parallel with each other, and then this line back here. So you see I'm pulling out these lines right there? That's what's actually forming the cube. Those do not need to worry about horizon lines, guidelines, anything like that, since they are not... Yeah, they are not bound to a specific plane. They're actually breaking the plane. This front one needs to be parallel. That's what makes it a cube. And then there's this final one in the back. That one is bound to a horizon line guideline. It pretty much needs to line up with where that center point is. Like that. It's more of a rectangle or a rectangular prism than it is a cube, just because I didn't make the box big enough. I made it a little too long, so I can actually cut that down. And I will cut that down. Oh, that looks so much better. That is a lot more cube-like. I just shaved a little bit off the edges. And from there, we can do another one. Even further back. I remember doing a little bit in the past of trying to learn and it wasn't really working. But seeing the difference that perspective makes on drawings is just, it's so interesting. Because it really is just the difference of like less than an inch. Less than a centimeter sometimes, even if you're doing something very far away. And that can make a world of a difference. This line needs to be parallel. See, like, that box back there, the one I just did, that one looks like it is a huge box. Except, objectively speaking, it's not. It is not a big box at all. It is maybe a couple... It is probably an inch at best, or an inch and a half at best, big. But you look at that, and in perspective, it's like, wow, that's a really, really long box. And it's just, it's so cool. Drawing is so super cool. I don't know. Okay, now I need to... I did not use this one at all. That's what I should have done, is I should have, instead of drawing two boxes on that plane, done the other one. That's okay. I'll do this. I'll do one from above. See, like, this is so interesting. I'm drawing, like, an actual full cube, though. How do I do that? How do I make this look like it's going to that center point? Which side of the box does this need to be? I see. This needs to come just a little bit out. This needs to come just a little bit out. No, that's not right either. There is always the very basic way of learning it, which is to do duplicate on the other side, but I'm trying to break that. This is a straight, flat line. Guess it doesn't need. Yeah, okay, it doesn't need that. I was overthinking it. I was overthinking it. See, there's a box. I think. No, that doesn't look right either. Because the other side wasn't pulling towards the center point. That bottom line is. Welcome back! What were you doing, King? Did you build your PC? I did not. I got one pre-built from online. Just because that was easier for me at the time. And the capabilities that I had. I wish I did. I probably could now with a lot of tutorials and a lot of luck. But not originally. I've had this thing for, oh gosh, probably close to 8 years now. She is still running as strong as ever. Spreadsheets. Spreadsheets. What spreadsheets? Oh, your spreadsheets. Your spreadsheet's going well? The cube is interesting. So I'm trying to do, coming from this perspective here. Oh, can't see. This one. And for some reason I'm struggling. It seems like it's just base. You hold it. It's right there. So I don't quite know what I'm... Oh. I figured out the problem. Oh. See, just needed to draw another one. And the problem will reveal itself. Figured out the problem. But this one is a precarious one to actually do it on, so I will draw it over here to kind of show what happened. So I was right in that these could go on the same plane, but what I forgot was this third underside. I guess it doesn't need to be a perfect cube. So that's kind of the point of this whole thing. Do you see that? I forgot to draw the underside of it. That's why it looked weird. I am actually going to post the drawing progress. I'll do... Before probably every Tuesday before the next skill building, I'll post an update on everything that I've drawn. So, yeah. I'll even make a hashtag. Skill building with Phoenix. Also, how much longer do you have until you have to go home? Or until you can go home in this case? I even further figured out. No, because that's a... I guess it's not a dual perspective. Technically. That is just how drawing works. Oh my goodness. Overthinker alert. I figured out the problem again. And I'm fixing it. There we go. Arc 10 to 6. Okay, so you're almost out. You'll get out, unfortunately, though, right as stream ends, because I have to run to a small group. Hey, you got nice jazz playing. We're learning how to draw. You can look at this later and practice it. It's good. It's nice. It's chill. Should be parallel, because that's... I don't know. I don't know. That was terrible. Let's go here. This is more of a rectangle than a cube, but that's okay. Let's see, look at that. We've got a couple overlapping, but that's okay. It's about learning perspective. thing I love about this specific exercise is that you can learn perspective while also taking up a lot of space on the page. So you're not wasting a lot of space. That's not correct. Yes, it is. We can do some basic shading. Just to get an idea of where the light source is. And I mean very basic shading. I do not know how to shade just yet. Like that. Just to get an idea of where a potential light source could be. Which in this case would be coming from over here. See, look at that. You put a couple boxes next to each other, and suddenly you get an idea for what the whole thing looks like. Could even mess around a little bit. And change the orientation of the cube. Kind of like what I did here on that end. Is not in the same orientation as all these. But you're still learning that perspective. And you could even use some of the lines made from the other boxes to figure out new horizon points. For new cubes. So like I made that one. The long one over on the left or right or whatever that is. And you could probably even start trying to round out those corners. If you wanted to. See what that would look like. Shading the side so it doesn't look like a firm cube line, but something else. Got another turned on its side cube there. But overall, it's all kind of coming together. Welcome back. Are you almost done with work? It's getting close to 6. Oh, this is a new video. Hello.
I've been drawing for about... You got your sketchbook out, let's get into it. Level 1 is about mechanics. This is where you gain control over your hand because you can't draw what you see if you can't even draw. Exercise number 1 is controlled lines from Peter Hahn. Draw 3 sets of straight lines at different lengths, one small, one medium, one long, and then go over them each 8 times, trying to match them as closely as possible. When you've done this, do the same thing for a wavy line. Exercise number 2 is point coordination from Michael Hampton. This exercise gets your hand used to drawing in every direction. Put a point
Well,
on
Ozona
paper,
doesn't normally
then draw
stream
a
at the
straight
same time
line
I
through it,
do.
and
Is he
try to
streaming
match
now?
the distance of the line so that it's equal on both sides of the
Or
dot.
do you just mean
Make
in
lines
general?
every direction until you start to make a radial pattern. The further out you begin, the harder it is, but this will train your line confidence. Exercise 3, coin flips. Imagine you're drawing a coin gradually rotating from its side to its face. It's going to go from flat to gradually tilted towards you until it's a full circle. This exercise trains your hands to draw all the degrees of an ellipse. To keep them consistent, you can use lines like I do here, or you can try them freehand if you want to increase the challenge. If you want to, you can also warm up with tilting planes as well. By the way, this book is also in the link in the description. Targets. Number 4. Make a point, then draw circles getting bigger and bigger around the point until it looks like a target. Make sure the distance between the gaps in the circle are always the same. Now try to do the same but in reverse. Start with a big circle, then gradually create smaller and smaller circles until you reach a point in the center. And finally, we have print. Just write the alphabets as neatly as you can. This is important because you're practicing very precise ellipses and straight lines, but also because your handwriting is an important part of communicating information as an artist. If your writing isn't precise, then how can you expect your drawings to be? And that brings us to level 2, visual coordination. This...
Oh goodness, that was all... That was all one thing. Oh, look at this. Here we go. So level 1 is mechanics, number 2 is visual coordination. It's gonna help. That's why you practice it though, right? You can even probably look up those like tracing tutorials. But getting those guidelines in would help. But yeah, look, form manipulation, form interpretation, rendering, observation, spatial awareness, visual library.
These are the exercises that are not really exercises. You're just drawing from imagination now. It begins with the main problem we have, which is mannequins don't look like people.
Yeah,
Even
Firefox.
if you soften them, they don't look like people. So how do you take a mannequin to a real person? And that's with Pinocchioing. Now, I debated this name, but I love it because we want to make a wooden mannequin turn into a real boy. And that's what Pinocchio is about. So exercise number 46 is Pinocchioing. Draw a mannequin and you allow that to be your reference to then draw on real anatomy and a real pose. Now, of course, it can be really hard, and I tend to get stiffer and lose the gesture of my pose because as you're thinking about anatomy and form, all from imagination, it can get hard. By the way, if you want to see this done masterfully, this exercise is from Jaekwang Park in his video on Proco, where you can see how the pros do this. Now, you want to practice this with both a male and a female body. Otherwise, you're going to draw human bodies that are way too stiff, or you're not going to make any difference between them. At exercise 47, we have something Tom Fox recommended a long time ago, and that is the chair test. See how well you can incorporate a human body sitting onto a chair from your imagination. This is more of a challenge than it sounds because you want to still get a sense of gesture, accurate proportion, and perspective as you're drawing all these. And if the chair is comfortable, then try to add on different props. So here I have a chair and also a table and a book on the table. If this all feels comfortable, you can just start building out more and more props. At exercise number 48, we have integrated imagination. This is where you start looking at reference and then adding drawings from imagination to be integrated into the scene. So this image of the horse, for example, I imagined what a person sitting on top of the horse might look like and created something like this.
They really do.
Another example is this car here. By drawing the car in perspective, you get a sense of the perspective grid, and from there you can start building out a much more vibrant scene. So in blue we have the reference, and in black we have our imagined scene. And you can see I do this for my POV drawings sometimes as well. 90% of it is the location I was looking at, but some of it is a dinosaur tearing up a cafe. And at number 49, my favorite, the daily highlight. This is fantastic for a number of reasons. It is literally just drawing from imagination, but it's a lot easier to draw from your imagination when you have a memory to bounce off of rather than the vast openness of imagination. Second is that if you do these over time, you will create a vivid journal of your experiences. And no one hates looking back and going, oh, I remember that day. So this day, for example, I was getting choked out in my BJJ class by some burly dude, and I wasn't having a good time. The point here is to do your best to create a believable scene and balance all the exercises, all the gesture, all the form, all the design that we've studied so far. Do these often and let this exercise.
All right, so
mechanics.
Everything I was doing before, I guess I'm not going to be practicing this week. But, you know, everybody has their own different ways. So, like, this person's probably going to say something different. Right? Like, what's their first step?
So, you want to learn to draw, but where do you even begin? There's so much to learn that most people end up just
yeah.
draw foundations. But these two first to the map. The first simple 3D.
So, yeah, see, he's just saying the foundations. So this is probably that foundational thing. So yeah, I will link all of this in the YouTube video, and I will keep posted everything else. But yeah, that is our hour. Hopefully this has given some good information and some applicable things to do throughout this next week. So, for instance, I would start with this video. This is a great... He really breaks it down, which is awesome. But starting with the level 1 mechanics and maybe some of that visual coordination, that's what I'm going to be doing at least. But there is a whole slew of drawing tutorials out there. So anyway, excited to see what you guys do. And I will see all of you tomorrow. Bye!